Hello and welcome to The Big Fight, a show that is young at 24. It is not 24 years old. The oldest running debate show on Indian news television. I'm Sanket Upadhyay. You see, what happened last week is something very interesting. Interesting not because it has not happened in the past, but interesting because it has never happened at this scale. We are talking about the ticket distribution in the Bharatiya Janata Party, the only party which has been first of the block in the state assembly elections. So whether it is Chhattisgarh or Madhya Pradesh, particularly Madhya Pradesh, 3 lists are already out, and even the model code of conduct or the election dates have not been announced. And in this list, 3 central ministers, 4 MPs are part of the BJP's second list, which means that people who are central ministers and 4 MPs, member of parliament, are going to contest elections in the Vidhan Sabha. It's a unique model. It's not like it's not been tried by the BJP in the past. They've got a mixed response. We'll come to that also in just a short moment. But the big question is, how should this movement be viewed? Should this be considered, the fast response of the BJP to think out of the box, to try everything that they have to win an election? Should this be seen positively, which the BJP would want you to believe? Or should this be seen as a sign of nervousness that after 20 long years, perhaps anti-incumbency will be at its peak? What do we do? So desperate measures in desperate times. Is this the way to look at a movement like this? That's how the Congress would want you to view this movement. How would you like to see this? What is your opinion? And what do experts think about it? The BJP's big MP and Rajasthan gamble. Oh, by the way, we have learnt that the same formula could be applied in Rajasthan as well. So it's not unique to MP. It's going to happen in Rajasthan as well. So will para-dropping central ministers and MPs going to work necessarily for the BJP? That's the big question that we are asking on The Big Fight. I would like to introduce our guest this evening. Manisha Priyam is a political analyst and a researcher. Thank you, Dr. Priyam, for joining us. Javed Ansari, senior journalist. Smita Prakash, editor of the ANI. Professor Sanjay Kumar, co-director of Lokniti CSDS. Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist and author. Shama Mohammed, spokesperson of the Congress Party. And Dr. Guru Prakash Paswan, spokesperson of the BJP. Thank you very much. Let's begin with what we call is the first punch, where each of you get 1 minute of time for your opening comments. Dr. Paswan, I would like to begin with you first. Your time starts now.
Sanket, we have to understand that BJP as a political party, we are a party with a difference. And the primary motivation of our party, the slogan of our party is India first, party second, self last. Number 1. Number 2, you have to understand that BJP as a political organization, we take every single election with utmost sincerity, with all seriousness. Be it a municipal polls, panchayat polls, parliamentary polls, legislative polls, every single elections are given exact same significance and importance because elections are the festival of democracy. The entire issue over senior leadership going to Madhya Pradesh is something which is a norm. It's not an exception. There are senior leaders, there are senior ministers, they are going to fight an election. It's a norm and not an exception like the media is discussing it as. It shows the level of discipline, it shows the level of commitment, not single statement, not single instance of virod, not single instance of withdraw you would have seen within the Bharatiya Janata Party. And this is the true sanskar of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Howsoever senior you are, howsoever varisht you are, if you are given an instruction by the party that you have to go and fight, you will go and fight without any
Dr. Paswan,
other conditions.
Time up. I'm going to come back to you. Shama Mohammed, your opening comments.
Sanket Upadhyay, what I see over here is the BJP is completely rattled. They do not have local leaders as such. That is one thing. And the other thing is we have to understand this is a form of dictatorship where everything is controlled by the center. No leaders are allowed to come up. So when they have a leader like Vasundhara, she will be not allowed to come up. Other states, if you have seen, they will not be allowed to. And what we see in BJP, what a model is that they change chief ministers when they want, when they need something. Congress party, on the other hand, are going very strong in Rajasthan, very strong in Madhya Pradesh. Basically, they are very, very afraid of what is going to happen. We are 110% winning in Rajasthan, we are 110% winning in Madhya Pradesh because we have entrusted our leaders over there. We have leaders in the state. We have Gehlot ji, we have Kamal Nath, we have Sachin Pilot. So we believe in our leaders. We tell them that you run the show. We leave it in your hands. But here, the problem is when you are a dictator, you do not let anybody else run the show. You're very insecure. You do not allow local leaders to come.
Okay.
As we have seen, one last point, as we have seen in Uttarakhand, Karnataka, and elsewhere, they have changed, and Gujarat, multiple chief ministers without asking the local leaders. But when they have to really change chief minister in Manipur, they have not yet done it. So that is the Bharatiya Janata Party, who is only one thing they believe in is winning elections.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if people like us or not. We have to win it by hook or crook.
Sure. Rashid Kidwai.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting experiment. There is some precedence in Bengal also. 5 MPs had contested, 3 lost and 2 won, but they subsequently had to resign. More than the method, it's that what is the end objective? Is the BJP trying to retrieve some lost ground? Is it trying to, widen the kind of, choice of chief minister in the state? And what happens to the, Shivraj model, brand Shivraj Singh Chauhan, etc.? So these are the questions that we do not know. Perhaps I find it a little baffling on the ground that if somebody is unwilling to vote for Jalin Singh Chauhan, why would they vote for his brother Prahlad Singh Chauhan, Prahlad Singh Patel, who's a member of parliament? And similarly, Kailash Vijayvargiya instead of Kailash Vijayvargiya's son, or Kailash Vijayvargiya instead of Narendra Singh Tomar's son, Narendra Singh Tomar himself. So these are the wider dimensions of that state politics that are little baffling.
Sure. Professor Sanjay Kumar.
Sanket, I think all political parties contest election to win election. No political party want to lose election. So I think this is the strategy of BJP. They are free in their own right to field whomsoever they want, because technically there is no bar that central minister cannot contest an assembly election. Member of parliament cannot contest an assembly election. So I think they are going with the strategy. They have adopted this strategy earlier also. There have been, the party has already fielded, MPs and ministers in West Bengal elections, in Tripura, in some other states as well. There is a mixed response to that. In some states they have been successful. In some states, the experiment did not work. So I think it is the strategy of BJP. I think they are free to do that. But there is another part of that. Is it good for politics in the long run? Are you setting a good trend? My opinion is that no, the party is not setting a good trend, because you are asking MPs to contest Vidhan Sabha elections. You are asking central minister to contest Vidhan Sabha elections. So what happens if there is, if these people get elected to the Vidhan Sabha, they will have to lose. They will have to vacate one seat. So you are inviting by-elections. What happens to one nation, one election when we are moving in that direction?
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Dr. Manisha Priyam, your opening comments.
So it's a very common practice and across political parties to have central leaderships go down to the states, and important political changes, when they have to be engineered by the central leadership of a national party, this is a practice that has been commonly resorted to. In my own state of Bihar, when the Congress party decided to break its long-term alliance with, and then the term Chehra was not used. Jagannath Mishra used to be the chief minister of Bihar. He was the face, he was a supporter of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Now, when that change had to be made and a host of new chief ministers were appointed, you had a chief minister called Chandrasekhar Singh, who had always been a minister in the cabinet in the center, and he was brought in there. And I remember in Patna, the discussions was, somebody's been paratrooped from the center. So what do you do when you have a strong local face? As Rashid Kidwai said, there is a brand Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Now you have to change that brand associated with a lot of anti-incumbency. And one way to do it is to position a national brand to displace the old brand. Now, when you position the national brand, obviously you cannot have Narendra Modi going and fighting this election. A lot of these ministers, by the way, were also people who were chosen in the central cabinet largely for their local standing, largely for representing a particular community. Now, Uma Bharti, for example, what would you say about her? Consistently considered a leader of a particular caste community, leader of the political party in the state politics, very strong. also has a national image. So this national and state is not such a strong dividing line, number one. And when strong parties, national parties are able to have governments in states or presence in the states, they will do this kind of change. And many ministers in the Modi cabinet, I can tell you, are people who Newton's Delhi definitely did not know about. They are people with strong local credentials.
I'll come back to you, Dr. Priyam, because, I'll come back to you. Smita Prakash, your opening comments.
Sanket, in both Madhya Pradesh and in Rajasthan, it's Congress versus the BJP. It's straight one-on-one fight, man-to-man or woman-to-woman fight or whatever you want to call it. And the BJP is first off the block with its list. Now, you can see that as nervousness or you could see that as good preparation depending on how you want to analyze it. If you remember when you took the board exams, however well or however poorly you did in the pre-board exam, if you went with a sense of nervousness during the board exam, you put in that extra effort. That's exactly how the BJP does. Every exam, every election is like an exam, is like a board exam. They make a whole lot of work, a whole lot of preparation goes in before they select. Why have they selected so many? Like they have 7 Lok Sabha and 3 union ministers in Madhya Pradesh. You would think that, there is no need. Some would say, what is the need? It will cause chaos. There'll be by-elections. All those things could happen. But the fact is that when you send people with a whole lot of experience, both from Delhi and from the state, they bring with them resources. They bring with them experience of having not just contested from that state, they've also been in charge. Like Kailash Vijayvargiya was also in charge of West Bengal. So they bring with them diverse experiences when they come to fight an election out there in Madhya Pradesh. When it comes to, the Congress spokesperson just said that local leadership is not given a chance, Vasundhara is not given. Vasundhara has been 2-term chief minister of Rajasthan. So she's had a whole lot of benefits. She brings a lot to the table. Even now, she has supporters, she has a voter base, and that has not been struck down as yet. As far as Shivraj Chauhan is concerned, 16 years, if I'm not mistaken, he's been chief minister. So where is that evident that the local leadership is not being given freedom to pursue with their programs and policies and leadership? There's been no destabilizing of the leadership. The BJP is not going with a face in both the states. That's what seems evident right now.
Okay. Javed Ansari's opening comments.
Sanket, BJP is a party which I believe fights for every blade of grass. And it's evident that the BJP realizes that the ground is slipping from under its feet. And this time they have a fight on their hands. And to stem that, they've tried to come up with a strategy which they hope will offset some of the anti-incumbency which has built up over the years against the Shivraj government and also against its leadership in Rajasthan. It also is evident, it's also a tacit admission that the BJP now realizes that the central leadership, that Mr. Modi alone, it cannot depend on Mr. Modi alone to do the heavy lifting for it as far as state elections are concerned. That alone will not work. Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Delhi, Bihar, Bengal have shown it. When you don't have a strong state leadership, when you don't have a strong organization and a strong face, then Mr. Modi alone cannot pull the chestnuts out of the fire. So therefore, they are trying this, and it also flies in the face of their assertions that they want one nation, one elections because they want to curb expenditure. Please, for God's sake, believe everything, but don't fall for this. Political parties adopt positions depending on where they stand. GST, you will support when you're in government, oppose it vehemently when you're in opposition. And this stands true for most political parties.
Okay. Dr. Paswan, I'm going to come back to you and let's talk about this experiment itself. The fact that this has happened in the past also, perhaps not at this scale within the BJP, but the BJP has tried this, right? So here is the track record of this experiment. In West Bengal, there were 5 such candidates. 2 of them won. One is Jagannath Sarkar. He won, and in his area of influence, the BJP won 6 out of 7 seats. For Nisit Pramanik, he won by only 57 votes, but in his area of influence, BJP won 6 out of 7. For the other 3, they lost. And in their areas of influence, the BJP won in one case in Toliganj, 2 out of 7. BJP lost all 7 in Loket Chatterjee's constituency. And for Dr. Swapan Das Gupta, the data is not available. So, as far as West Bengal is concerned, your track record is not even, the success rate or the strike rate is not even 50%. The list goes on. I mean, in the state of Kerala, we have seen that both the candidates lost. In fact, they came number 3. Whether it is Uttar Pradesh against Akhilesh Yadav, Mr. SP Singh Baghel could not deliver. So it's not like this experiment has really delivered the goods. Then why try it again?
Sanketji, that is a very good point, but I don't necessarily agree with your extrapolation of this situation in the examples that you gave of West Bengal, of Tripura, and of Uttar Pradesh as well. In West Bengal, you must realize that the growth in the number of our seats, we were in single digit. But after the election, we are now the single largest opposition in the West Bengal government, from a meager 3 seats to more than 70 seats.
Dr. Paswan, I remember very clearly, I don't think you were fighting to be the principal opposition.
No, I think every election, like I said, Sanketji, every election has its own nature, has its own challenges and has its own opportunities. But today we are there. Today the Congress and the Communists are completely wiped out, they are washed out. It is because of the sheer determination of the Bharatiya Janata Party. But second, you have to understand, in Tripura, for example, Union Minister Pratima Bhaumik was contesting the assembly election. What was the impact in Tripura? We won Tripura handsomely. You look at Uttar Pradesh, the fight in Uttar Pradesh was different. The fight in Uttar Pradesh has a different connotation to it. Union Minister SP Singh Baghel, who comes from a scheduled caste community, was given a ticket in a general in an unreserved constituency against Mr. Akhilesh Yadav. It is a farther larger sociological ambition. I think in the history of the Congress party, I don't remember even once Congress fielding a scheduled caste candidate in a general in an unreserved constituency. We have to understand that. As far as Madhya Pradesh is concerned, let me make this very clear. In 2018, when the Congress government was formed, Mr. Rahul Gandhi promised unemployment allowance. What happened to it? Absolutely nothing. Mr. Rahul Gandhi promised loan waiver to farmers. What happened to it? Nothing. On the contrary, it was the Bharatiya Janata Party that ensured 22,000 crore of loans being waived in the Bharatiya Janata Party government.
Okay, one more. Before we move on to promises, we are just talking about this experiment first. Dr. Paswan, my final question before we move to other guests. You see, in Tripura, the point that Professor Sanjay Kumar was making just a short while ago, that you are going to engineer and force the nation into a by-election. So this whole argument of one nation, one election to save costs gets defeated. Take the example of Tripura, where the BJP fielded Tripura West MP and Union Minister Pratibha Bhaumik from Dhanpur seat. Pratima ji won the seat but later resigned from the assembly to retain her Lok Sabha seat, and then there was a by-election which the BJP won again. So this is like a matrix.
No. You see, every election, Sanketji, you understand that there are certain arithmetics, that there are certain combinations, there is a certain amount of chemistry as well. On the basis of one seat, you are entirely attacking the idea of one nation, one election. I think it is a preposterous proposition. One nation, one election, or the idea of simultaneous poll, was it suggested by the Bharatiya Janata Party? No. It was the Congress member of parliament.
No, but then I hope you realize then you will not be able to send union ministers to contest Vidhan Sabha elections, no? This formula that you are trying out right now, I'm going to let me circle back to you. Culture. I'll come back to you. Shama Mohammed, how would you respond to the arguments that have been given? And most importantly, Ms. Shama Mohammed, one of the things that has been said is that can the Congress or anyone in the opposition even attempt to do something like this in the present context? As Dr. Paswan said, the look, nobody, not a flower pot broken, nobody had any issue, everybody has accepted, people are going about their business.
Sanket, we believe, my leader Rahul Gandhi ji, Kharge ji, Sonia ji, all of them believe in democracy. So that's why we've always been a democratic party, and we believe there are leaders and they will continue, state leaders. We don't want to bring in changes from the center, take people out. That's not the way we function. he mentioned some loan waiver, which I fail to understand. What a big lie. Madhya Pradesh, as soon as we won it, which they came and took it away from us, our victory, we immediately, loan waiver was done to the farmers by Mr. Kamal Nath. And I have evidence for that.
No, that's a lie.
It's not no, this is a big lie by. So let me correct. So this thing, and he's
No,
talking
that's a
about
lie,
nonsense.
ma'am. I will not allow that to happen, ma'am.
I did
22,000
not
crore of
interrupt.
loan was
One
made
by
by
one,
the
please,
Bharatiya
one by
Janata Party
one.
government, not your party.
Don't be.
Dr. Paswan, one by one.
You are lying, ma'am.
I'll
I
give you
have
a right to
to
Don't you
reply.
have manners? Don't you have manners?
I'll
I'm
give you a right to
speaking.
reply. He says that this is factually inaccurate.
No, I don't need to learn
I'll give
manners
you a
from the
right to
Congress
reply.
party.
So
Shama
I will
Mohammed.
tell you this is factually accurate, because just like they lie from morning to night, what did they say? They will take action against Ramesh Biduri. Did they take action?
Where
They have
was
put
the
him
unemployment?
drunk in
No
jail. So this is
unemployment
another
allowance,
lie.
no
I'm just
farm
telling you
loan
what's a
waiver.
lie. Listen, Sanket, I can't do a debate if this guy is going to go on interrupting. I would like to leave this thing.
One
Tell
by
him to
one,
please.
please.
Let me finish my points. What is wrong with him? So that is the thing. And we believe that the state leaders will fight the election. Now, again, what we see is their hypocrisy. They say one nation, one poll. Now, how many central ministers are they putting here? How many by-elections are going to be happening here? That itself tells you what sort of lie. And then they put the blame on us. I mean, we are against it. We have been telling we do not want it because we know. And they are the ones who come in and do by undemocratic means take away governments, make governments fall, and they put in their government. So I fail to understand how. Sanket, the most important thing today is what I believe is they are very scared. They know that Madhya Pradesh is lost. Rajasthan is lost. And let's see what is going to happen. Chhattisgarh is lost. And in Andhra, they have gone to third. We are going to win. I'm sorry, Telangana, we're going to win it. So what I'm trying to tell you today is that this sort of game which they are playing, 1 minute, let me finish, is not democratic, because they have this habit of changing chief minister, changing MLAs. How long is it going to last? Who is the dictator on top to sit and change chief ministers, change leaders?
Okay, Dr. Paswan's quick right to reply before we move on to other guests, please.
Sanket.
Yes, very quickly, sir.
No, Sanket ji, I was patiently listening to my friend from the Congress party, but I would like to simply ask her a question. What was the budget of the state of Madhya Pradesh when the Congress left the state of Madhya Pradesh? What was the budget, ma'am?
We did not leave.
And what's the budget today? The budget in 2003 of Madhya Pradesh.
Now, Shama Mohammed, please, one by one.
You are teaching me manners, Sanket.
Miss Shama Mohammed, one by one, please.
So he's talking about you took away. You made a government fall. What are you talking about?
Okay, Dr. Paswan, please conclude.
Sanket ji, only if you allow me to speak.
And that's why the
nobody speaks on top of one another.
Sanket ji, she is not aware of the budget of Madhya.
You had a problem with him speaking. Now please abide. Yes.
He asked me a
Dr.
question.
Paswan, quickly please. We have to move on. There are other panelists waiting.
No, I think it's sufficiently clear. The Congress spokesperson is not aware of the budget of Madhya Pradesh in 2003. It was 23,000 crore. Please note it down. And now it's more than 3 lakh crores. Now you don't know. This is your manners. This is your sanskar. This is the sanskar of the Congress party.
There's a lie happening.
From
can
my
you tell me the budget of Karnataka?
Sanket ji, I allowed her the courtesy.
What was the budget of Karnataka?
Okay, I have no way to cross-verify at the spur of the moment budgets of state government, so I will have to move on here, please.
I'm asking you the budget of Karnataka.
Smita Prakash.
No, Sanket ji, you cannot. Sanket ji, I did not get a chance to speak. Sanket ji, from 23,000 crore to more than 3 lakh crores.
Shama Mohammed, please let him finish. Otherwise, we'll be stuck in this loop. Yes.
No, because he's
Dr. Paswan.
He's talking about
Only Dr. Paswan on screen,
I'm asking him, what is
can
the
we
budget
please
of
have him
Karnataka?
on the screen?
Tell the budget of Karnataka when
yes,
you left.
Dr. Paswan, can you please conclude?
From 23,000 crores to more than 3 lakh crores. And talking of mudslinging and the Congress party lecturing on democracy, the Congress party that undertook the large-scale involuntary vasectomies of thousands of people, they are talking about democracy. The Congress party responsible for imposing emergency, black page in the history of our democracy,
what is the
talking
point
about
that
democracy.
You're making here?
The Congress party that cannot look beyond
Dr.
one
Paswan,
family is talking about democracy. Listen to me. Sanket ji, last 10 seconds. Sanket ji, ऐसे नहीं होता है. Last 10 seconds. The Congress party has a high command culture. In the Chhattisgarh, TS Singh Dev cannot see Bhupesh Singh Baghel. In Rajasthan, Mr. Pilot cannot see Mr. Gehlot. This is the state of affairs within the Congress party. And if the Bharatiya Janata Party leadership, if the Bharatiya Janata Party Karyakartas are showing strict level of discipline, then you have a problem with it. Then you are attacking us in the name of democracy.
Let me get in the editor of ANI. Smita Prakash, your view on how this should be viewed. You said that this is like board examinations. I heard your analogy. But the point is, for your argument, there will be Mr. Javed Ansari's argument also. That yes, while this party takes a lot of decisions, why fix something if it isn't broken? Obviously, it's a realization that something's gone wrong.
Why fix? What is not broken? See, I didn't get the analogy. I just want to say one thing though, that both Congress and the BJP saying that the other party doesn't have democracy, whereas they have democracy, that the other party has a high command culture, whereas we have discipline. I'm sorry, but for those who sit outside, it seems like high command culture in both. What happened after Karnataka was won? Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar, they couldn't decide who would be chief minister, and who decided? Delhi decided. It's the same when it's the BJP. It's Delhi which decides who's going to be chief minister in Gujarat. So it's, for those of us who sit outside these political parties, it just seems mudslinging by both the parties, but they both seem very similar as far as their structure is concerned. There is discipline. There's no doubt about that there is discipline, that when the BJP decides that a certain minister has to go and fight from the state, there is no rumbling. They just have to do what they are told. So that is, they call that discipline. The other party calls it a high command culture. It's evident even in that party. So I don't see that. The other thing which is being, everybody keeps talking about, is that the BJP's over-reliance on the Modi magic or the central leadership, and how that did not succeed in Karnataka. So why is that being done in Rajasthan and in Madhya Pradesh? Why not rely on the state leadership's yatras and their programs and stuff like that? The BJP, the way I see it, I don't know whether the BJP sees it like that, for sitting outside, it seems as if the BJP is not going to make its raniti, its strategy, based on what election analysts say why BJP lost in Karnataka. They are supremely confident in their track record at the center, and they think that in all the states, that is what will be replicated. So when Mr. Modi goes and does this frenetic campaigning in those states, it is that what we have done in the center, what we have done for the country, we will replicate that in the state. And there is there's no second thought in when they do that. And whether it is a Shivraj Chauhan, whether it is a Vasundhara Raje, or whether it is a Narendra Tomar, or whether it will be a Rajyavardhan Rathod, or any of them, or any of these people who could be chief minister candidates, they will only be doing what the BJP has mandated for the state. And they are all Karyakartas in that respect, whether it is the Prime Minister, or whether Chief Minister, or whether an MLA or an MLC. They all have a certain blueprint for what the state and what the country's programs and policies are going to be. So I don't think there is any dichotomy in that thinking.
Okay.
Can I just come in?
One more. Dr. Priyam and Professor Sanjay Kumar have been waiting. Everyone is. I'm going to come back to you, Shama Mohammed, in just a short moment. Let me just reintroduce everyone. Dr. Priyam, let's quickly come back to the success or the strike rate of a formula like this. You said it has been tried. These political experiments have been tried in the past by all parties, by various parties. But only if we stick to the BJP, because that is one party we see doing this of late. What would you say about the success of this experiment?
So you've been, the side ticker has been very important. I've been watching that when the debate went on to the respective budget size of two states and a very localized question answer between two national political parties. What I could see from the side ticker was that it has not worked for the BJP, by and large. In some cases it has, but the big picture is that it has not worked for the BJP. Smita Prakash ji rightly said both have a high command culture. There could be high commands and high commands. What definitely appears is that nobody is doing a Chucha in the BJP. Tickets have been given and the ministers are going. If there is a Chucha, then it is not being heard in the public domain. certainly there must have been a Chucha, because one of the names that's coming on your ticker, Babul Supriyo, right now, he went and did what you asked him to do, but then decided himself to dump the BJP. And he had been a member of parliament from the BJP. He had made many statements that were very partisan statements and definitely showed him up to be a member of the BJP rather than anything else. And he baited Mamata Banerjee. But you saw him stick to state leadership and to the state leadership of the Trinamool Congress. And he said, okay, this is my way of protesting. So I don't know whether there's a protest or not. There are enough reels going on saying Kailash Vijayvargiya was very surprised when he was given this ticket. So the questions that appear in our minds is, what was the consultative process that went on? And certainly one success that the BJP has achieved is that today nobody is talking of Shivraj, Maharaj and Naraj. Everybody's attention is certainly shifted to, the big ministers have been, sent from the center. There's a new set of leaders that's going to fight. We don't know who's. So that space for chief ministerial competition within the party is also certainly open. And you've moved the political narrative for the BJP away from Shivraj, Maharaj, Naraj. In my understanding, it's none of the above. And therefore, when we are saying same formula will be applied in Rajasthan, I can tell you a lot of those names that are being spoken about have been tried for even the post of the chief of the Rajasthan BJP, and the central level party was not successful, or there was not enough local agreement. So in Rajasthan, I feel there might be a very different formula. Of course, the sticky thing is not the by-election or anything, but if Om Birla goes back and fights the state level election, that's going to be a very sticky thing. So maybe the BJP keeps him out of it, though his name is taken very strongly in Rajasthan itself on the ground. When people say Ashwini Vaishnav or Om Birla, the local response is, Ashwini Vaishnav may be the favorite at the center, but Om Birla ji has a greater acceptability at the local level. He is a local person. So these are political discussions on the ground. But I do think that if the BJP applies this formula in Rajasthan, there will have to be different permutations and combinations. For the moment, the political clock has ticked ahead for the BJP.
Interesting.
Professor
Sanjay Kumar, what's your take on the success of this formula?
Sanket, if this was a formula which would give sure success to a political party, then by this formula, BJP should have been ruling most of the states, at least from all the states from where BJP is getting. BJP has got large number of MPs in the assembly, MPs in the Lok Sabha. So there are enough evidence to suggest that this is not a sure shot formula. If the party does not command support, if there is an unease, unhappiness about the performance of the party on the ground, whether you field 5 MPs, 10 MPs, 10 ministers or 20 ministers, that may not work. On the other hand, if the party is doing okay, in such a situation, this formula might work. And that is what has happened in the past. Some state it has worked, some state it has not worked.
Yeah.
Bengal, we keep giving example about Bengal. Mamata Banerjee was standing very, very firm on the ground. And even though they fielded some MPs, some ministers, they did not manage to win election. But in Tripura, they did manage to win election. So I would go along with the formula. This is not one size fits all. So you have to experiment different things in different states.
Exactly. Rashid Kidwai, before I come to you, by the way, Dr. Priyam, yes, I'm coming to you, Shama. Dr. Priyam used a word, Chucha, for our South audience who may not know the reference to this word. This Rashid Kidwai would mean that obviously there was not much noise within the BJP to a decision like this, and no other political party can even think of taking a decision like this, because otherwise then, to quote Dr. Priyam, there will be a lot of Chucha. So my question to you is, how do you view this formula and the formula vis-a-vis? Yes, Dr. Priyam. Yes, Dr.
Priyam. Even Sanket, 1 second, sir. Even Ghamandia is not understood down south. So allow me that clarity.
I have no way to explain. Yeah. I don't know how to explain this.
Sanket, there is
Yes,
some
Rashid Kidwai.
Sanket, there is some chucha going on at the ground level. Yesterday, the 3 buses of load of that Akash Vijayvargi came to Bhopal to protest against, likely denial of ticket to Vijayvargi's son. There will be some resignations and all, but this is normal. This is nothing unusual. I'm saying this is actually a knee-jerk reaction, and why I'm saying, because political parties, when they do it, there is a system. There is a system of that district, BJP unit could be sending some names constituency wise, and most leaders are taken on board. In this case, it was not. Many MPs or ministers were told, they came to know when the BJP parliamentary board released this thing. And what we call it a grand old party, the Congress has done all these things, and perhaps they learned or they didn't learn. That's a subject matter of other debate. In 1989, Congress went alone in Tamil Nadu, and they defeated a lot of people. Dr. Arunachalam, Thangabalu, Ramamurthy, several others, so to say, stalwarts. They were all fielded to fight Tamil Nadu assembly election when Congress was not fighting in alliance with either the AIDMK or DMK. At that time, AIDMK was also in 2 factions, that Janaki Ramchandran faction and Jalita faction. They lost handsomely. All ministers lost. So I'm saying this is the track record of the Congress party. If it is for a purpose, intent, where is Jyotiraditya Scindia? We were told that Gwalior Chambal region is a lord of that region, and he is not being fielded. So far. So what is his utility in the BJP? As she was, Manisha ji was referring to Om Birla. What about, Bhupendra Yadav in Rajasthan? What about Ashwini Vaishnaw in Rajasthan? So there's a lack of transparency. Ultimately, the ball is in people's court. People will give its verdict, but I think it's a very knee-jerk reaction and a recipe for disaster.
Okay. Before I come to... Yes, let me just quickly get in Javed Ansari, and then I'll come to you, Shama Mohammed. Mr. Ansari.
Thank you, Sanket. I thought you had forgotten me.
Yes, Mr. Ansari, what are you saying?
I said thank you for remembering. I thought you had forgotten me.
Absolutely not, sir.
What is the question?
Thank you very much for not making any chuncha also. But beyond that, my question to you, Mr. Ansari, is on the success, and I keep coming back to that point because it's an interesting experiment, and as some of the panelists here seem to suggest, it appears slightly Kamarajian. What the Congress tried in a different form long ago, many decades ago, is being tried in a very smaller way in states by the BJP. It is the success of an experiment like this which is being questioned.
Look, it has had mixed results. If you go by empirical evidence of the past, it has had mixed results. And like Sanjay ji was saying, that look, if your party hasn't performed well and if there's a strong anti-incumbency against your party, no matter 5 MPs or 10 ministers, it will not make a difference. So therefore, this is not if the BJP or any political party believes that this is the kind of magic formula or silver bullet, this is not. There are a whole lot of factors that would decide this election. This alone will not. And as far as the fact is that BJP is giving credit, that only the BJP could have done that. Other parties have done it in the past. Other parties, when they've been in power in the center, have done it. Cadre-based parties are better placed to implement such decisions than other parties. That perhaps if the CPM ever decided to do something like this, they would have. And with due apologies to our friends from the south, there won't be too much chucha if the CPM Politburo decides, or if Mamata Banerjee decides, today, no? or Mayawati decides. So these parties that are cadre-based are better placed to do it. There is no denying the fact.
All right. Shama Mohammed. Yes.
Couple of things. Sure. Please, I want uninterrupted time by the BJP spokesperson. He mentioned that we are having problems in Rajasthan, that someone doesn't see eye to eye. Kailash Meghwal, their BJP MLA, called Arjun Meghwal the most corrupt, a senior cabinet minister, senior leader. Okay. They had a Jan Akrosh Yatra where there was hardly anybody. Nobody came for this Yatra, and the reason women did not come at all. So they had to stop the Yatra mid because of the issues they are having with Vasundhara Raje. There's huge infighting in Rajasthan, and everybody knows about it. Then he told about a loan waiver. I just want to remind him, in 2008, the central government waived loans of farmers more than 78,000 crore. Understand that. And in 2014, they promised they will do a loan waiver. I still remember Jaitley ji saying in Parliament, we cannot do it. So what we say, we do it. That's how we won Himachal. That's how we won Karnataka. They saw that the Congress party has put in some guarantees and they've all kept the promises. The other thing I wanted to take up here is about state leaders. You see, I go to my state, I see what happens. There are a lot of these local leaders there who want to try for the assembly ticket. Now, when you're bringing people from outside or central ministers or MPs, what happens is that their dream goes away. So I believe today what will happen to the Bharatiya Janata Party, it's just going to implode, because we can see the way Biplab was moved out, you put a Manik Saha, you put another CM there. So everything is so centralized that every decision is that changing a whole
Ms. Shama Mohammed, that example that you have given, isn't it a little self-contradictory? Because if this example of Tripura is to go by, then it kind of worked.
No, what I'm saying is that
for the BJP,
it's not that it has worked. Have you ever spoken to a Biplab? What is going on inside him? I hear that in Tripura there are two sections there. He doesn't listen to what the chief minister says. There's huge infighting there. How do you know it's just going to implode one fine day? And the other thing is what I want to say, in Madhya Pradesh, 2 days ago, the Prime Minister of India calls the Congress party urban Naxals. On what basis? Your government is there in Madhya Pradesh. Talk about what is happening, what you've done for the people of Madhya Pradesh. Why are you calling the Congress party urban Naxals? What is the basis of it? And one more very important point, every time he goes for a bhashan, the Prime Minister of India says the Congress party is corrupt. We don't have any convicted leaders. The convicted leader I know is in BJP. His name is Yadurappa. So I fail to understand on what basis the Congress party is corrupt. So the Prime Minister of India, if he is campaigning, he should stop hijab, halal, Kerala story, all those things, and speak on what the particular state has done. Why is he not doing it? Because
I think the allegation. Let me get in Dr. Paswan and his view. I think the point Shama Mohammed is making, that the BJP deliberately, perhaps for political gains, nationalizes an election, completely ignoring local issues. Right? We tried to do that in Karnataka, it did not work for you.
I was patiently listening to my friend.
Yeah. Dr. Paswan's response.
Sanketji, I was patiently listening to my friend from the Congress party, and I expect that there won't be any Chucha for the following minutes.
I need to reply after.
So she mentions about Rajasthan, and Sanketji.
Yes, please carry on, Mr. Paswan.
So she mentions about Rajasthan. She mentions about Rajasthan and how Mr. Meghwal referred to Arjun Ram Meghwal. So, senior leader of the Congress party, former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Mr. Digvijay Singh, refers to a Dalit woman MLA, Imarti Devi, as an item girl. Who is going to answer for that? Rajasthan today tops in the National Crime Records Bureau for crime against women, for crime against Dalit, for crime against Muslim. And madam, when you speak of loan waiver, even the government in Rajasthan promised loan waiver. What happened to your promise on loan waiver in Rajasthan? On the contrary, more than 19,500 farmers had to wish off their land. You took away their land from land owner Kisan to landless Kisans. This is the reality of the Congress party in Rajasthan. Your Home Minister, Mr. Shantilal Dhariwal, Rajasthan मर्दों का प्रदेश है. राजस्थान में तो crime होगा ही. Your Chief Minister, Ashok Gehlot, says कि राजस्थान में रेप कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. Now come to Madhya Pradesh. Same situation. Your minister has a diary called Lal Diary. It was not a BJP leader. It was a Rajasthan government minister, Congress leader, who has come out with a Lal Diary of corruption, which has named every single accusation, every single deal that your Chief Minister has done. Speaking of Madhya Pradesh, Sanketji, only couple of days ago, there was a Karyakarta Mahakumbh. More than 10 lakh party workers came and joined Prime Minister when the Karyakarta Mahakumbh was happening. In Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan, we need democracy, we need not dictatorship. And the nature and the character of the Congress party is of dictatorship. And I want to challenge the Congress party. What is going on between Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot? Can you say this in public? Can they come out in public together? Absolutely not. And I will say this again, not a single word of dissent Not a single word of dissent from either Mr. Vijay Vargiya, Mr. Prahlad Singh Patel, Mr. Narendra Singh Tomar, Mr. Rakesh Singh, Mr. Ganesh Singh, who are member of parliament and union ministers in the government of India. This is the level of commitment and this is the discipline which we have. The people of Madhya Pradesh have voted for us since the last 20 years. Look at the parliamentary elections. In Rajasthan,
let's just hope that
Congress
Dr. Paswan,
completely
you're not
washed away.
speaking too
In
soon, because if this
2014,
formula is
in
tried in
2019.
Rajasthan, and what if you start to ruffle some feathers, then you may have to eat your words, sir. So let's just hope that you're not speaking too soon.
Can I come in? Can I come in on one point, please? Can I respond? Sanket, can I
Shama
respond?
Mohammed, quick
Sanketji, I
response.
think the question is for me. Question is for me. Only yesterday, the national spokesperson of the Congress party, Ms. Ragini Nayak, in Bhopal, ki OBC pe manipulate kar do, OBC reservation pe manipulate kar do. She has said this on record on television. This is the commitment to social justice of the Congress party. This is just a matter of rhetoric for the Congress party ki OBC reservation
Shama
pe
Mohammed, quick
manipulate karke
response,
bol
and then
do.
we
This
go.
is the officially designated spokesperson of the Congress party putting on record.
The highest rapes and crime against women are in Madhya Pradesh. We have seen the 12-year-old girl walking without getting any help. We saw
again a lie. It is Rajasthan. Please go and check.
Urinating.
It is Rajasthan,
We saw
ma'am. Please go and check.
Dalit mother being stripped because and her son being killed in front of her because her
Sanket, this is
daughter
not the
complained.
topic of
So
the
let me
debate.
finish that.
In
And
Rajasthan,
also-
madam, what is happening in
and
Rajasthan? I
also,
think you should
one
be
more
answerable
thing,
for that.
He spoke about the red diary. Okay, if you have the red diary, why don't you go and use it? Because the Yedurappa diary will come out. You know what's the Yedurappa diary? Where he blames everybody. In that diary, you have
Okay, Shama Mohammed and Dr. Paswan, may I tell you that we have really digressed from the subject.
And also, why is he not
We have
talking
really
about
moved
one
on
nation,
to
one
diary
poll?
and all sorts of things.
Sanket, ask him one nation, one poll. He has not responded on
Okay.
that. When they're saying, if
before all
these
sorts of issues
ministers
come in,
win, what
let me
happens
quickly
to
bring
one
the
nation,
focus
one
back.
poll?
Smita
Ask him
Prakash,
one nation, one poll.
last 3-4 minutes left now for this debate. Smita Prakash wanted to come in.
And also, why is the Prime Minister calling the Congress
Smita,
party
Smita
out of
Prakash,
nonsense?
please. Yes, Ms. Prakash.
Yeah, Mr. Paswan gave a very spirited defense about that there is no factionalism in the BJP and everything is hunky-dory. The fact is that what Manisha was saying, this Shivraj Maharaj and Naraz, the fact is that there is a faction which is Naraz, which is sitting in their Kop Bhavan, and then to break that factionalism is the reason probably the BJP has fielded those very Naraz people कि तुम बाहर निकलो अपने कोप भवन से और जाके इलेक्शन लड़ो. So when they are busy fighting the election, they cannot do manipulation and they cannot bring down whatever numbers they are going to do. The second factionalism is in Rajasthan, where the Naraz and the Maharaj, it's not a Maharaj, it's a Maharani. The Naraz and the Maharani are one person. Instead of 3 there, it is 2 here. So both together is the Naraz Maharani. Now the Naraz Maharani has to be brought on board, because if in the case of her not coming on board, she can make some of her people stand as independents. If she makes any of her people stand as independents, and in the case of a fractured mandate in Rajasthan, that could mean that she becomes the kingmaker. So I think right now the BJP is playing, the signal was that when Mr. Amit Shah and the others were there yesterday or day before yesterday, I think, when they were in Rajasthan, the meeting with Vasundhara, the Naraz Maharani, lasted only for 15 minutes. Whether that indicates that everything is hunky-dory as far as the Naraz Maharani is concerned, or whether it is not being resolved, is anybody's guess.
You may have tried para-dropping in Madhya Pradesh, but will Dr. Paswan and his claim that there has been no noise in Madhya Pradesh, will that be the same situation in Rajasthan? That will be very, very interesting. I have run out of time. Thank you very much, all of you all, for joining us on this discussion. Hopefully there was very little Chucha, to quote Dr. Priyam. Thank you very much.